One Piece has shown us 3 types of Zoan awakenings: mindless beasts, controlled hybrids, and Luffy's reality-bending Gear 5. But the 5 Elders' mythical zones hint at a 4th category: awakenings that don't follow the rules. J. Garcia Saturn regenerates like a demonic hydra. Marcus Mars flies while releasing energy beams, and Walkery tanks attacks that stagger Luffy. So why are Gorosei awakenings different? And what does that mean for unconfirmed users like Kaido or Yamato? Today we're decoding One Piece's most dangerous power system. The first time we saw a Zoan awakening, it wasn't some legendary warrior unlocking their potential. It was guards in Impel down, losing themselves completely. These jailer beasts were mindless, drooling monsters with massive, exaggerated hybrid forms that barely resembled humans anymore. They had the strength to match their size, but no intelligence or control. That's the risk of a failed Zoan awakening. You get power at the cost of your sanity. What's interesting is how their forms changed physically. Regular hybrids like Lucci's leopard form keep a clear human silhouette, but these awakened guards had elongated limbs, distorted faces, and fur growing wildly. It's like the animal side consumed them. Oda hinted that Zoan fruits have wills of their own, which makes sense here. If the animal's instincts take over, the user might not come back. The only downside isn't just losing yourself. The increased durability and recovery come with a cost too. These beasts healed fast, but they also rampaged without strategy, making them dangerous but predictable. Luffy and the others exploited that during the Impel down breakout. A strong enough fighter could outlast them, because they lacked discipline, even with their boosted abilities. Now here's the bigger question. Why don't all Zoan users end up like this? The Impel down guards weren't weak. They were elite jailers handpicked to handle the worst criminals. So was it because they weren't strong enough to control the awakening, or did they embrace the transformation willingly? The world government isn't exactly known for caring about the sanity of its enforcers. This raises stakes for any Zoan user pushing toward awakening. Chopper's monster point is technically not canon awakening, but it shares traits: loss of control, enhanced power, and even he needed the Rumble Ball to avoid permanent consequences. If a skilled fighter like him struggles, what happens to others attempting this power leap unprepared? But then again, the Impel down beasts might be outliers, because when we see future awakened Zoan users, they're not just in control, they've refined it into something precise. Lucci's hybrid leopard form post-time skip isn't just bigger, it's sleeker, with black fur that suggests a mastery over his Zoan's instincts. While the Impel down guards lost their minds, Lucci kept his tactical thinking and even enhanced his Rokushiki techniques. That's the difference between a failed awakening and a controlled one: willpower. The key factor seems to be training. Lucci spent years honing his body before eating the leopard fruit, which already gave him an advantage. CP9's martial arts focus emphasized discipline over raw power, so when his awakening kicked in, he wasn't overwhelmed by the animal's instincts. Instead, he integrated them. His Shigan attacks became faster and his Soru movements more fluid. It's like he didn't just accept the strength boost, but weaponized every aspect of the transformation. What's interesting is how his form differs visually from the Impel down beasts. Their hybrids were bloated and disproportionate, but Lucci's body stayed balanced, just optimized. Even his voice remained steady, not the growls of someone losing control. This implies awakenings can be tempered if the user's mind is strong enough. Marco's Phoenix form might follow similar logic. He's had decades to sync with his fruit, which could explain why he doesn't devolve into a mindless bird, even though his awakening isn't confirmed canonically. Lucci's case proves if you're disciplined, you sharpen like a blade. If not, you become a blunt weapon. But then there's Luffy, who bypassed both paths entirely. His Gear 5 doesn't follow Zoan rules at all. It rewrites them. Instead of leaning into an animal's instincts, he turned his into pure creativity. That's the real outlier. The Gorosei's awakenings don't make sense by normal Zoan standards either. These aren't just enhanced physical traits, they're full-on supernatural abilities tied to their mythical origins. That's the difference with Mythical Zoans. Their awakenings seem to tap into the legends behind their creatures, not just biology. Saturn's Ushi Oni form references a demon from Japanese folklore that could regenerate limbs, hence why Luffy's attacks did nothing. Mars Itsumade is based on a vengeful spirit that burns everything in its path, which matches his fiery beams. Their powers aren't just stronger versions of animal traits, they're manifestations of myths. Even their appearances lean into this. Saturn didn't just grow horns, his entire body warped into something distinctly demonic, with multiple eyes and elongated limbs straight out of an Edo period scroll. This raises questions about other mythical zones. Yamato's wolf fruit has shown awakening signs, but if it aligns with these rules, her ice powers could evolve beyond simple freezing. Kaido's dragon form already has elemental attacks, but awakened, could he control weather like the Ryujin from folklore? But here's the catch. We don't know if the Gorosei are permanently awakened or if this is their base state. Luffy's Gear 5 has a time limit and physical strain, yet Saturn fights endlessly without visible exhaustion. If this is their awakening, it implies mythical zones might bypass the usual drawbacks. Or worse, what if they've lost so much humanity that the transformation isn't reversible anymore? The Gorosei's lifespans are already suspiciously long after all. If regular awakenings risk losing your mind, mythicals might risk losing your humanity. And if that's true, Kaido dodged a bullet by never fully awakening. Or did he? Because his hybrid form shows signs of something deeper at work. Kaido always seemed like he might be awakened, but we never got confirmation. His hybrid mode and dragon form are insanely powerful, with flame clouds lifting entire islands and bolo breath attacks that dwarf most other Zoan abilities. But does that mean he was awakened, or just that mythical Zoans are built different? The Gorosei's powers suggest mythicals blur the line between base and awakened states, so maybe Kaido was operating at full capacity the whole time. Compare his endurance to Luffy's Gear 5. Luffy burns out fast in his awakened form, while Kaido fought for hours without slowing down. That could mean two things. Either Kaido's fruit doesn't have the same strain because it's naturally stronger, or he was awakened and had mastered it to the point of sustainability. His drunken fighting style hints at something unusual too, losing control but in a way that enhanced his power. Unlike the mindless, impel-down beasts, it's like he flirted with the animal's instincts without fully surrendering. Yamato's case is even trickier. Her ice powers already push past normal Zoan limits, mimicking a Logia's elemental control. If she awakened, would she become more wolf-like, or would her ice abilities evolve into something like a perpetual blizzard? Mythical Zoans tend to bend reality when awakened, so Yamato's transformation might not be physical at all. It could be environmental, freezing everything around her permanently. Then there's Chopper, the accidental outlier. His monster point originally mimicked a failed awakening. Lost control, monstrous form. But after the time skip, he tamed it. Does that mean he technically awakened his fruit through the Rumble Ball? Or is he stuck in a pseudo-awakened state because his fruit was artificially altered? If his human fruit has its own consciousness, maybe his awakening was always doomed to be unstable. The takeaway here is that Zoan awakenings aren't standardized. Kaido might have been awakened without declaring it. Yamato could unlock powers tied to myth rather than biology. And Chopper, he's proof that the rules have exceptions. That's what makes this power system terrifying. It's not just about strength, it's about how much of yourself you're willing to sacrifice for it. In my opinion, Zoan awakenings aren't just power boosts, they're stories about consequences for eating devil fruits. The Impel down beasts lost their minds, Lucci honed his into a weapon, and Luffy rewrote the rules entirely. Each case shows Oda using awakenings to explore themes. How much power costs? What happens when instincts take over? When a user bends reality itself? Or when reality is traded for near immortality?